There is no for support for people in the society who do have courage, who do come out and stand up against those who are wrong, those who are actually committing evil and wrongdoing and so forth. That's one of the main problems here. I noticed the fact that the reason why there's no people coming out and standing up. Involved. There is thousands, if not millions, of people involved in some kind of system where there's wrongdoing going on. They know what's going on, but they don't speak out. And it's not just the fear. It's the fact that we live in a world where there's no support for people out there who come out and speak up. And that is a very troubling situation. Very troubling. I mean, I can all I want. Anyone else can all they want talking about how there's a lack of courage in this world and how courage is all but dead. But the reason why is because of the fact that as a collective, people have been programmed into not supporting those who tell the harsh truths about reality. The truths that actually will shatter their little perceptions of reality. Because this goes into how a lot of people think that perceptions are everything with reality, not understanding it's only your interpretation of reality. It's really frustrating. I've seen it all the time. See, this also goes into why trauma victims don't like to come out and talk about their story, because of the fact they have to worry about being somehow, some way being blamed for this situation. The victim blaming. I mean, this whole victim blaming thing is actually a whole complicated story in itself that I'm fully trying to understand at this time. But it just got me thinking. If you wonder why there's people out there who are not coming out and standing up and speaking out, it's because of the fact that we live in a world where you're going to be cold and alone if you do that. If you actually shatter people's perceptions of what they think reality is about a group or a said person. And the messenger gets a lot of heavy, burdens they have to carry. It's just to get a lot of attacks. So much persecution from the messenger who speaks the truth. And it's just people have been so programmed. That's because of the fact that people have been programmed since they're young to actually think that they're following a certain perception of a little subjective perspective of or perception of reality is okay. Not understanding that reality is something that you have to see from an objective perspective. You can't just look at reality from within your little bubble. And they become, and the worst part about it is the emotional attachment that comes with it. That's the worst part about it. And it's just something that's got me thinking. You wonder why, for example, whistleblowers and other people out there who have seen great evils don't just come out and talk about it. It's not just the fact that people, like I said, it's not just the fact that they have to worry about their lives just being on the line, but it's the fact that they don't get no support. And I mean, forget about not just the lack of protection most of these whistleblowers don't have, it's the fact that society is not going to go support them or stand by them. Because the fact they're thinking, oh, how dare you actually say this about this person? They think that because that's the problem, the emotional attachment these people have to certain things, whether it be a group of people, a ideology or belief system. When you come out and expose it for what it is, then it's just mental resistance because of the fact that people are so emotionally attached to it. You have to understand that your emotional attachment is an unhealthy thing to this. Yes, it's unhealthy. That's something you have to understand. And this is a video, and it's just really, excuse me, I'm sorry. What I'm trying to say is that people need to get over their emotional mind control. That's all I'm trying to say here. Very similar to how when I, for example, say that, the migrant crisis, for example, let's take about the migrant crisis going on at this time of this video. I keep saying that, the real people who are doing this are the ones who are following their orders, the ones who are actually have no conscience at all. The ones who actually who are actually going or on the boots on the ground, actually manifesting the reality physically. I mean, you understand that authority has no basis in nature. At any time, anyone can just turn their back on some so-called authority figure. And it just proves how hallucinatory authority is in nature. What I'm trying to point out is that the people who are causing this, remember, are the so-called troops. You want to try to blame it on a politician or you want to blame it on the migrants themselves, God forbid. But it's the people with the boots on the ground. Because if these people don't have the boots on the ground and they're actually are doing the job, then this would not be happening. And don't get me wrong. You got to understand that, yes, you got to ask this question. Who is more responsible, the order follower versus the order giver? Yes, the one who gives the order is going to bear some responsibility, but let me make this comparison. The person giving the order is going to get a slap on the face, whereas the person who took the order is going to get a big right hand to the face, or more so to its chin. That's what I'm trying to point out here. I'm not saying that the politicians are not 100% not responsible. Oh, they got responsibility. You know why? Because of the fact they're manipulating a general population. But you got to understand that the people who are physically taking the action are the ones that are going to actually reap the worst consequences. I mean, there's a reason why the ones wearing the business suits, the military uniforms at the high ranks aren't really actually getting it the same way as people in the general population are getting it. And I mean getting it in a bad way. Why do you think that the people who suffered greatly the most throughout history is us? Not them, but us. Think about it. I mean, use your brain for a minute here. And this is something a lot of people see. A lot of people right there are going to have that emotional reaction I'm talking about. And I'm the messenger, and here comes the bullshit. I'm just pointing out an example of what I'm talking about. For example, when I say that, the ones in the military that are dropping the bombs in the homes, they're killing the families, creating parentless families and so forth, because there's migrant kids out there who have no family, because they lost it to all this bloodshed and war due to that's actually because of globalist interest. It's not about freedom and democracy. Yeah, like I said, ask it to the people who are trying to come here because you destroyed their homes. How that freedom and democracy is working over there in those places. It has nothing to do with that. If you believe that, you're a naive fool, and you need to hold your head in shame. Hold your head in shame to believe that, still in this day and age, believe in the mainstream media owned by 6 corporations, controlled by the CIA. If you don't believe me, go look this stuff up. This is the reason why not only people have no courage to go out and speak about this stuff. It's the fact that you get shut down. You just get shut down. Or they try to shut you down. The fact that, you live in a society where no one wants to hear the truth. That's why I question humanity. That's why I'm thinking, you know what? Humanity is not truly serious about wanting to wake up. Because if they really want it that badly, they'll be ready to hear the truth no matter how harsh it is. They'll be willing to look into these things for themselves. No matter how harsh and how bad it is. About the people they thought are good guys. You have to hear about how they're really bad guys. Or about various different groups and belief systems and cults out there that have been exposed. Cults of ideology and methodologies and thinking. I don't know why. What did I say that for? Oh, anyways, like I said, if you wonder why, it's because of the fact that humanity is not. If humanity is, like I said, humanity has to stand united in what it wants. The biggest problem here is that we're not getting any people. What's going on is no one's uniting on one front with this whole thing. That's why there's very few people coming out, and why the people who do come out, all these bad things happen to them because of the fact there's nobody standing with them. You're lucky if you do get some protection or some support. You'll be lucky. I just see victim blaming all the time with people, or just people out there who are just so cold and heartless, because it tells me, it just convinces me more and more that, not all humans are created equal, because there's a lot of humans out there who have, I believe, are not what you think they are. Especially if you take a look at the world around us and some of the actions, behaviors of certain people. I'm starting to believe in that working theory of the fact there is soulless beings walking around, or beings who are not human at all. There's something else, and I think it reveals their true nature. But what's scary about it is that there's beings with souls out there who actually ended up being brainwashed and mind controlled into acting and behaving like them. That's the scary part about it. That's why I sometimes can't tell the difference, because that's what I mean by all people are not created equal, because of the fact that there is people out there who are just running on a program. Literally, They're designed to actually keep you from escaping the program, escaping the matrix. And it's really bothersome. That's why I really believe, I really think that humanity doesn't have what it takes to get through these times. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but from what I've seen and what is going on, it's just nothing has really changed. I don't really see no real evolution within humanity. I see a de-evolution, if anything. It's really disturbing and troublesome because there's people out there. I mean, this also goes into the fact that there's people out there who will actually make you feel like there's something wrong with you. And I'm talking from personal experience, how they will make you feel like there's something wrong with you because of the fact that you're actually have grievances against the problems in this world. You know, and the fact that you can't cope with the insanity. Why did you coping with the insanity is insanity itself. It has to come to an end. And I really wonder when it's going to come to an end, because the good news is it can't last forever. The bad news is when, because there's really no real time frame. You can guess all you want, but you're going to very likely be wrong about when it's going to come to an end. I made this on the fly message because I really think that humanity doesn't have what it takes with this actions, attitudes, and behaviors. They say they want help. They want a better world, but what they don't tell you is they never say anything about getting rid of their leashes. When they say they want a better world, what they mean is they want a bigger, longer leash. They still want masters. They still want rulers over them. They still want to be controlled by somebody else. So it makes me question. Because I keep saying that as long as there's power and control and hierarchy, there's always going to be suffering. It doesn't matter how benevolent that hierarchy is. It doesn't matter. Because in the long run, hierarchy is going to get replaced anyway. So the worst kinds of people are always attracted to positions of power. That's why there's very few people out there who, kind, compassionate individuals out there in positions of power. Because you know why? Because of the fact those type of people are not by nature are not attracted to that type of thing. Because they know inherently in their hearts that whether they acknowledge or not, that controlling people is wrong. It's just something, and I'm talking about on a subconscious level, not on the conscious level. It's the people out there who want to control other people, and the psychopaths out there who want to control other people. It's the bottom line facts. But a lot of people actually have no understanding of psychopathy, which is pretty troublesome. They don't understand how psychopathy is actually running rampant in the society. I'm not saying that everybody is a psychopath. I'm saying that there's a lot of people out there with psychopathic tendencies. And those psychopathic tendencies come from how one is raised and the type of environment they grew up in. I'm not talking about primary psychopathy, which is something you're born with. Secondary psychopathy is something that's developed within you. Big difference. And there's people out there with psychopathic tendencies, and people out there who are just plain cold-hearted. And it just shocks me how a lot of people just buy into the facade that these people with psychopathy actually put on. They actually know how to act and behave just like you. They love to act. They're some of the best actors on this planet. That's why they're good at hiding their psychopathy. Damn good at it. They're very good mimickers. But anyways, that's it for right now. I mean, this video is for those out there to think. It's for the people to think on. Even though this message is not going to get out yet, of course, because right now I'm working on the views thing. But whatever. This is it for now. All I have to say is, humanity so far, your days are near numbered at the rate things are going. I mean, humanity is in big trouble. And I'm just saying it out of all honesty. I'm not sitting here, I'm going to try to lie about it. It's based on what I see, whether you like it or not, or acknowledge it or not.